You find yourself lost in Irvingland. Last time, Will and Dr. Smith took shelter in yet another unexplored cave to escape an electrical storm. They escaped the storm all right, but the storm got its revenge. It buried the entrance to the cave.
Last week we left Will and Dr. Smith trapped in a mysterious cave, unaware that inside, a space warp was about to open a ghostly door to an incredible haunted world.
I like my recap better, but if we must, we must. We're going to meet a ghost. Two ghosts, actually, Hamish and Angus, except Angus, you'll see.
Right here, Dr. Smith.
Where do they come from?
I don't know, but they sure are handy. Golly, a landslide sealed up the cave entrance.
A landslide. Then we are entombed. We shall die like rats in the darkness.
What darkness? You're holding a torch. It hadn't occurred to either of them that if a pair of lit torches can appear out of nowhere, so can other things. A revolving door with electric lights instead of flaming torches, for example. Dr. Smith is sitting off somewhere drowning his sorrows in wine. Better go get him. Or not. He came out back at the Jupiter 2, but 5 years later. He found he had a new baby brother. Don and Judy got married because they had to, and now they hated each other. And Dr. Smith and Athena were running a small blueprint just over the hill. He wasn't happy when he saw how badly they'd neglected upkeep on the ship. Not to mention how badly they'd neglected their own hygiene. He hides in a torture chamber and starts getting a little bit of an idea where he is.
In this place, in the year 1497, Anno Domini, Hamish Ruglamus, 9th Laird of Glamis, was executed for high treason against his liege lord and master, James Stuart, King of Scotland. Scotland? I'm back on Earth.
But I'm not sure it's registered when he is. But regardless of all that, this time he's taking solid evidence back with him. He just has to figure out where back is and how to get there.
Will and Smith?
Oh, Don, the robot says they're both trapped in a cave.
Oh, no. We'll need tools. Picks, shovels, anything we can dig with. We'll start right away.
You have laser weapons. I have a feeling they'd be much faster. Still, their efforts are sufficient.
Where's Will? Shut! I'm afraid I've caught a cold.
Where is Will?
Someplace about. There you see, I told you my delicate constitution cannot stand the damp. Oh, thank heaven you've come.
Don't forget your vocal warm-up, Smith. Me, 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 me.
Oh, calm yourself, Dr. Smith.
Where's Will? He went to seek another exit from this infernal place. I must get out of here. I must warm myself again in the blessed sunlight.
Dr. Smith!
Never mind the game, Smith. Where's Will? I told you he went that way.
He said no such thing, and there's nothing that way but a blank stone wall.
Don, what could have happened?
Well, we know the magnetic field of this planet's unstable, Maureen.
And?
And I think the storm created a warp in that field, and Will went through it.
I pretty well quit trying to do anything by my junior year of high school, so my knowledge of physics is horribly limited. But something about that doesn't sound right to my untrained ear. Don says, if we can recreate the conditions of the storm, maybe we can open the portal again and find Will. That should be easy. Just call Red Guy from a couple of episodes ago. His squeeze ball can create a lightning storm. That's what's known as a 15th century alarm clock. Other stuff in the room starts moving by itself, and since it's all torture equipment, Will is officially freaked out. I guess he's not the only one. I would say that sounded like Dr. Smith, but it was way too controlled to be him. Will hides, and as he watches, figures reenact that execution the wall plaque was talking about. Eventually. The good news for Will is they left the door unlocked. In despair, Will just stayed in the dungeon. That wall became his only friend. He named it after his favorite city, and for the rest of his life it was just him and Stonewall Jackson. Don't look at me like that.
Come on, you guys. Cut it out. Who do you think you're trying to frighten? That's child's play for any good magician, an amateur at that.
It'll be another 500 years before the Jupiter 2 launch, so he can be forgiven for not knowing that everybody in the universe travels by Irwin Allen explosion.
Where'd you get that get-up? At a used costume sale? Hey, cut it out. Where are you?
Over here.
I said to cut it out. But you know, that is a pretty good trick. Do it with mirrors, I guess.
Great horn toads, have you no respect for a ghostie?
Told you, he's the guy who was beheaded on that day in this chamber. And what's that other thing?
You see, it's only the soft music of the pipes that keeps Angus calm.
Sure. Whatever you said.
What is that?
Huh? Ah, Angus, is it? Ah, sure, he's the curse of Glamish.
What is he? What's he like?
It's a wee bit difficult to describe, poor Angus. Part human, you know.
Human?
Oh, yes, yes. Why shouldn't he be, too? Isn't he me own great-great-great-granduncle? Or is it, great-great-great-great-granduncle? Aye, that's it.
As I said, we're meeting two ghosts, except Angus moonlights as the Swamp Thing on weekends and holidays. As long as Hamish plays the pipes for him on occasion, he's not dangerous.
Angus loves the soft music of the pipes.
I never thought of the bagpipes as a soft instrument, and I've never been a fan of the sound, but I admit whoever is playing that is doing a very nice job of it. Hamish says, by the way, he eats people, so maybe you'd better head back inside while he's still in a good mood.
Now we'll come back with explosives and take that cave apart. Will's got to be in there.
What? Mom!
Prediction, they're going to write his story off as another of his little flights of fancy.
I went along this corridor and out this door, and here I am. Don't you believe me?
Will, I think you better go to bed. You're overtired.
Ugh, the back of me head to you, woman! You all went in and saw the blank rock face and Will not there. You got a better explanation? Don told you that Will probably went through a warp of some kind, but when he describes it to you, you try to take his temperature and tell him to go to bed. You might have been the perfect earthly mother for 19 years on Lassie, but as a space mother, you have a lot to learn. And now the lot of you have him doubting his own senses. Nice going.
Oh, now that's enough of that.
You don't believe that stuff about ghoulies and ghosties and strange beasties, do you?
Well, I believe something happened to Will in that cave. And instead of everybody doubting him, I think it should be investigated.
And why didn't you bring this up while he was in the room and give him a smidgen of reassurance? He could have used his big sister right then, and you blew it. I think Job said it best in the Bible, you are all miserable comforters.
Oh, come on, Judy. Will had a rough time in there. You imagine things.
Oh, no, Don. Will's not the kind of boy to imagine things.
Then please explain these things to me.
Fascinated by that boy's fantastic imagination. Admiral Zark of the Imperial Cassiopeian Navy.
Oh, now really, Will.
Son, this isn't one of your little flights of fancy, is it?
Dr. Smith just disappeared.
He disappeared?
Yeah, on a flying horse. Right.
On a flying horse.
Oh, Will.
It's true, the horse had wings.
Now, son, we've had just about enough of these wild stories.
All that time, you knew he's not the type who's given to imagination and wild stories, but you jerked him around for 2 seasons anyway, despite the fact that you've already seen stuff way crazier than anything he could ever invent. Part of the issue that I've been seeing this season is the use of a small handful of writers. The same names come up again and again and again. The problem that I see is none of these writers ever talked to each other or read each other's scripts or watched each other's episodes. Each one was locked in his own closet with a feeding tube and a poop chute, and each one thought he was the only one working on the show. When they finally learned what had been done to them and saw all the dumb continuity errors, they stormed Irwin Allen's estate, but his army repelled them and they didn't try again. Honestly, when I heard that line, I got so ballistic I had to go outside and kick a tree. Oh, don't worry, I used the manufactured leg, so I didn't feel a thing. Dr. Smith is talking with Will and assuring him that he believes the story. But he says it would be easier to convince people if you brought back some kind of evidence. In all the excitement as well as the sense of betrayal by his family, he forgot all about that.
Wait a minute.
Yes, yes, yes.
How about this?
A weed?
It was growing all over the castle wall.
Well, that's hardly conclusive evidence, William. Plants like this could grow anywhere in the planet.
But which planet? Have you ever seen it on this one? No, he hasn't, because once he gets it under the microscope, he'll discover that it's a particular kind of Scottish ivy that only grows in a certain area. Like exactly where Will said he was. While he goes off to check on that, let's make things even weirder for our young friend. Because that's exactly what he needed to round out his day and carry him off to dreamland. As if that's where he intends to go.
Will Robinson.
Yes, Robot?
Your father ordered me to patrol the area while he is away. I must warn you, it is not safe to venture beyond the perimeter of the ship, Will Robinson.
Well, it's all right. I'm not going to go very far. Say, did you hear any music out here?
Certain cacophonous sounds were received and recorded by my sensors.
Sounds about right.
Hamish might take exception to that description, assuming he knows what cacophonous means. There he is. You can ask him if he knows what it means.
Back, you black imp, I say! Back, by the poles that command you!
Why, Hamish, I thought we were friends.
Don't you try to play any of your sneaky tricks on me again! Oh.
I didn't play any tricks on you.
Oh, didn't you indeed, huh? And how come then this poor tormented ghost of Hamish Ruglamish is in the perdition that he is? Oh!
In life, he was plagued by painful gout. It was getting better, but they killed him before all the swelling went down. Now it's back with a vengeance, so he figures somehow Will must have gotten him condemned to perdition.
Ghosts don't have gout.
Oh. Ah! Oh! Now he's trying to murder me, the wretch! Oh!
I touched you.
Yeah, of course you touched me. You did touch me.
Yep, Hamish is human again. He's Hamish human. Even his head is attached.
No, look at the mess you've got me into.
He was happy being a ghost. He doesn't want to live another lifetime with that gout. Will figures something must have happened when he came through that portal. How did he do that anyway? Why did he do that anyway? Whatever the answer is, he wants to go back.
Well, I don't know about that, but my mother might be able to help your gout. She's awfully good at doctoring.
Your mother and you. Oh, well, I think we best try something. All right. Do what you have to do, laddie, but I'm going to lie down.
I wonder if a living, breathing, walking, talking 15th century Scotsman will convince them that he's not making it up.
Just can't be. I can see him and I can touch him, but I just don't believe it.
Yet, he was the one who came up with the space warp theory to explain why Will disappeared in the cave. There are people for whom no amount of evidence is enough to shake them from their ideas. I didn't realize Dawn was one of them. Actually, he's all on board. He's just a little mind-frelled by all this. Smith produces the leaf and explains what it is, and they all agree we need to set up the equipment to reproduce that storm, open this portal, and get this guy back to his home.
The only problem is, John, we can't generate enough power to maintain the warp for more than a few seconds, which means only one besides Hamish can go through.
Why is anyone besides Hamish going? Did you all forget that Hamish lives in medieval Scotland? The United States doesn't even exist yet, much less any space program. What good will going back there do anybody? Still, as we saw, we have a volunteer, suitcase and all.
I shall go myself.
You?
Why?
I am eminently qualified from a scientific point of view. I shall return to Earth with this briefcase containing star charts, pinpointing our exact location in space. Within a matter of months, a relief expedition will be on the way to rescue all of you.
Great idea! You can show them to Copernicus, since he'll be the nearest thing to a contemporary astronomer you'll be able to find in Europe. Nobody is thinking this through.
Donnie's right. It's our best chance.
But...
No buts. Now you set it up that way and don't wait for me if I'm not back.
It's not a bad idea. Hamish goes back to where he belongs. Smith gets stuck in 14th century Scotland and has to live out the rest of his days without any of the technology or comforts he's used to, and the crew is rid of him for good. It doesn't do them any good as far as getting home, but even with that, I'm having trouble seeing a downside here. No, Will, he didn't forget them. He told Hamish he has no intention of sending any rescue party, so once he's through, he doesn't need them. And again, where are you going to find a space authority in 1497? This is unbelievable. I mean that.
What is this?
Here we are. Isn't this cozy?
Cozy indeed. I think not. What is this obscene thing?
A chopping block.
A chopping block. What?
And this is the chopper.
Hamish was frustrated when his antics didn't scare Will. Dr. Smith, on the other hand, is the gift that keeps on giving.
And this makes a man's last moments very comfortable indeed. Listen, would you like to try it, huh?
He'll even be helpful and hold the axe while you do. Hamish is going to get ages of fun out of this.
Let me return to my friends at once, if you please.
Your friends, huh? The ones that you were so anxious to leave behind, is it, huh?
The ones you intended to betray and leave stranded out there in space? You mean those friends, right?
You must get me out of here!
Oh, hush, 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 lad. You'll grow to love this place in 100 years or so.
100 years?
Aye.
My dear sir, I shall be dead of starvation much before then.
Oh, that you will indeed, laddie. And maybe then, as a ghostie, you'll provide a fitting companion for myself.
Smith can't believe it. Hamish says there's no more fitting fate for someone as horrible as you. Of course, Smith takes offense at that, and they start insulting each other's families, at least until Smith claims to be a descendant of a certain guy.
Ruthven, he said. Ruthven, that accursed name. Ruthven, the traitor. Ruthven, the informer. Ruthven that sent me to the block.
That's right. He can get his revenge on Dr. Smith and finally move on from this world. He conjures up a headsman and all the trimmings.
Dr. Smith!
What are you doing here?
Will you help me, save me? Don't let him chop off my head.
I should say not. Who ever heard of such a thing?
Hamish says, quick as his head rolls, Angus and I will both be free. Will won't have it and runs off to find Angus.
Angus, I don't know what you did to have this happen to you, but it must have been pretty bad. And I don't know what Hamish did, but it must have been bad too. But the thing is, you did those things and you got what you deserved for them. And now Hamish is going to kill my friend so that you and he can be freed from your curse.
The Will Robinson magic even works on ghosts and bog monsters.
Oh, I tell you, laddie, that was uncommon brave of you. You know, you put Hamish Ruglamish to shame.
What about Dr. Smith?
Oh, aye, yes. Well,
All right, take him and go back where you belong.
Yeah, there's that little question of how.
Turn it off.
Never mind. We'll get a nice scene where that active charity earned Hamish and Angus a trip to their eternal home. It's all very sweet and predictable and unnecessary. In the cliffhanger, Will is trying to stage a melodrama of his own creation.
Hostile Indians are attacking us!
Oh, no.
Oh, my child!
Oh, do not despair, Mother dear, for we still have each other. Where is he? Dr. Smith?
Yes? I was just checking my costume and makeup.
He's blowing it as usual.
You were supposed to make an entrance.
This is only rehearsal, William. I know my part perfectly.
Know it. You live it. Perfect typecasting, if you ask me.
No one did, you Neanderthal ninny, and spare me the asinine ad-libs.
They keep squabbling until Will gets angry and leaves. Smith says, "Don't worry, we'll continue without him." Isn't that the dude who was having the war with the frog guy? Why'd Will cast him? More to the point for this episode, why did nobody pay any attention to the year they were going back to? Smith had a bunch of star charts to take to Space Command. What Space Command? The nearest thing to that was the Arab astronomers in the Middle East, and even then nobody had so much as a telescope, much less an interstellar spaceship. There's no explanation for the whole ghost thing. He really is a ghost, and in the end he moves on. This is called science fiction. Do ghosts exist? I don't know. I do know in a show like this it's kind of incongruous to have one, much less two. And the way we handled it, the whole episode accomplished absolutely nothing. Instead of this, they could have been having a chess tournament for the whole episode, and it would have been just as relevant to the overall plot of the show. I'll talk about it more in the next episode when I treat the season finale, but we aren't getting anywhere. We aren't moving forward with the Robinsons' plan to leave the planet, and we aren't having them dig in for the long haul. They're in limbo. They sit here day after day, puttering around and drilling for deuteronium, and all the weirdness in the universe comes to visit them. If they'd known this planet was this popular, they would have given it a cool name and charged admission. Then there's the question of where they are and the star charts and all that. They seem to know how to get to Earth and Alpha Centauri both, yet when someone asks them where the planet is, they say they don't really know, they're lost. Is they or isn't they? So far we've been trying to have it both ways and it's not working. I'm deliberately not addressing the goofiness because that's a stylistic decision. I'm talking about consistency, which as you know is a big thing with me. I think the most jarring inconsistency so far has been Maureen saying Will isn't given to flights of fancy when she's been accusing him of it all season. Again, you can't have it both ways. If he's given to imagination, build on it. If he's not, stop bringing it up and accusing him of it. But don't say one thing last week and another thing this week. That's bad writing. Thankfully, the season is almost over. I'll see you next time you find yourself lost in Irvingland.
If you enjoyed this episode, click the like button and let us know. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you always know what is happening, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. We make sure of it. We control his computer. Until next time.